trip leader on my section.
I literally started counting down because I did not want to stay in the city. I want to go back to Dartmouth.
There are like so many different types of people on this campus.
It was the second time in my life I'd ever went camping. The first time being the weekend before.
That are interested in so many different things.
I didn't really want to go on the trip, but
you really interact with like your trip leader and all the other trip leaders on your section.
My name is Andrew Rayner.
So my name is Sharon Biswas.
I'm Emma Ruth here, I'm a 12.
I am a 10 at Dartmouth. I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
so when I came in freshman year,
I'm an international student.
I'm from Louisiana, like,
I have never been to the United States.
I don't do any of that outdoorsy stuff, ever.
The city, not the suburbs. That's an important distinction, I think. Not really, but it's important because when I came to Dartmouth, I knew that I had the opportunity to go on a DSC trip, and I was really intimidated at first, but I told myself that I was going to get involved in the outdoors. That's like one of the reasons I wanted to come to Dartmouth.
Coming from far away from home, you sort of need to have that sense of being wanted. You know, you don't want to come in here and feel like, oh, you know, you're the freshman, you're the bottom of the totem pole.
And before I got here, I was really worried that, like, I wouldn't like anybody in my section or anything like that, and
You want to feel like you're wanted, that you're actually going to make a difference, and that you're part of a community here, which is something that I think is unique to Dartmouth.
there's really nobody in H crew that looked like me, I don't think.
Coming from New York City, I never experienced anything close to trips.
There's not really anybody in H crew that I thought that I would like ever be friends with or get to know.
A lot of people go into trips expecting that their trippy group or their trip leaders are going to become their best friends. That didn't happen to me. I'm friends with my first year trippies, but I'm not like really close with them now.
Went on my trip and like almost everything went wrong. Like we went, our leaders actually took us upstream the first day for 6 miles. They were like convinced that we were going the right way.
When I met trip leaders and things, that few of them were international students. A lot of them fit a category of big white men who like going into the woods a lot.
What was important for me was that my trip leaders were happy to be there, happy to engage us in conversation about ourselves so that we could learn about each other and learn about Dartmouth through them, and that they were ready to have fun for 3 days while we were in the woods. The woods being a cabin with a stove.
I'm not a very outdoorsy person. I live in a city in the United Arab Emirates. My co-leader, on the other hand, was like nature woman. She knew all this really well, and I think that worked amazingly because she had a lot of hard skills, and I presumably and hopefully had a lot of other skills.
I never got the chance to be a trip leader because I was always off in the fall and didn't realize, like, hey, you can stick around and be a trip leader. So if you're not going to be on in the fall, don't worry about that. Apply anyway, because I think that's great. And if I could go back in time, that's what I would do.
In order to be a successful and good trip leader, you really only need a couple things. You need to be a Dartmouth student. You need to want to help freshmen, and you need to. That could be the only two things, actually. I don't really know what else.
The freshmen, I think, need a view. I mean, the DOC trip is the first thing they see, and it's good for them to see that trip leaders come from all over.
So apply for something, because I think either way it'd be really fun. Like, I wish I could go back and be a trip leader, but sadly I can't.
Trips is an important social experience because you meet other first years, you meet your first group of upperclassmen, and so you open up a little bit to campus, and hopefully when you arrive on campus after trips, you're less awkward.
I wanted to be involved in trips because I wanted to introduce the freshmen to Dartmouth with a positive attitude, show them my positive energy, show them why I love Dartmouth. And I think that every individual has a different reason for that and has a different reason to offer as to why that is.
We need to remember that you don't have to want to jump up and down and sing and be in an a cappella group and dye your hair and all these other things that people heavily associate with trips in order to be an extremely successful trip leader.
want to get back to a community that's given them so much.
I was on H crew this fall, and I honestly think it was one of the best things I ever did here. It was just so much fun. It's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it in the end.
I can't relate to every freshman as hard as I may try.
And I feel like I met a very large number of 13s and like can still remember them by name, and I love to see them around.
DOC trips have the amazing potential of drawing from all different parts of campus to give a full representation of Dartmouth to the freshman class.
I think I'm just like look down from the top of like right next to Moose and look down in the field and see all these different types of people fellowshipping with one another. I think that at its heart is what Dartmouth's all about.
Those are the people that, like, you know, when you have those like group things at the lodge, you know, group discussions about Dartmouth. I mean, that was the most that was one of the most useful parts about trips.
I remember that was like one of the best things about trips, just learning firsthand from like your experiences as students, you know, like, you know, the 411 or whatever on Dartmouth. So.
Yeah.
It's really simple, but it's really profound.
That's it.
And on my section, my two trip leaders, okay, so Tommy, obviously, you know, and like the other trip leaders that I remember from our section, like, not the crunchy types. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, yeah, I think, yeah. And like, so it is the trip leaders that you remember. Alright, I think we're all set. I'm going to a dinner thing. I gotta relax.